Hi there, Scott, ROCKFILE, back with another podcast review for you. Going to talk about the 2020 American action thriller film, Becky. I saw this movie on a list somewhere that said one of those movies you should check out. I put it in an Amazon wish list. It was about $10 for a while. Still didn't want to take a chance on it. And then, as I've mentioned before, HamiltonBook.com had it for like $2 or $3. And I'm like, I looked up some reviews. Reviews are pretty good. It's like 70-something% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, all right, well, we'll give it a shot. Boop. So it's been sitting on a shelf for a little while, and I finally picked it up. Nothing better to do. Let's watch a 90-minute movie that I don't know anything about. First of all, it was great. Short version is, don't listen to any more. Go check it out if you don't mind gory stuff. This is basically an R-rated version of Home Alone on steroids. The gore is over the top like a horror movie, but it's not a horror movie. And I'll tell you why it works. But really, you don't need any spoilers. Go watch the film. It's better than I thought it was going to be, even after reading some good reviews. I thought it was a Canadian production, but it says all over that it's an American production. Only made about $1 million, only opened in about, 50, 70 theaters or something like that. Didn't get a huge wide release, got some streaming stuff back in the day. And like I said, I've had it on a couple of wish lists for a while because a few different reviews, different top 10 movies you've never seen that you should probably check out kind of lists. It was on several of those. The film stars Lulu Wilson, Kevin James, and Joel McHale. It was originally going to star Simon Pegg in the Kevin James role, which is interesting. Kevin James plays against type and plays a skinhead Nazi prisoner who's not a good guy. If that doesn't get you to watch the movie, I don't know what else will. He does a really good job with it, actually. And pretty much everybody in the movie does a fantastic job. I think Lulu Wilson is great. She comes out of this movie kind of like Samara Weaving came out of Ready or Not. You know, I had a whole different appreciation for this actress coming out of something like this. It does have horror movie tropes. Basically, it's Home Alone. Becky and her family have gone through some trauma. She's still going through some stuff. And these escaped prisoners take over their lake house. Violence ensues. Imagine Home Alone rated R on steroids. This movie works because Becky is a real character. In the beginning, she's dealing with, like, her mom dying. That's how the movie opens. She's dealing with everybody not seeming to, it's your typical, I don't want to say typical, but back in the 80s and 90s, we got a lot of movies about kids not being able to deal with stuff and nobody around them realizing what they were dealing with. Well, this is kind of that. Her dad is being very positive and trying to help her, but she's still a kid and she's rebellious and spunky and turns up the music when he tells her not to turn up the music. She's that kind of kid. And in the beginning, you don't really like her either because, again, she's one of those disaffected, kind of emotionally vacant kind of kids. But it's really, she's going through a lot of stuff on the inside, right? Everybody else thinks she's just kind of an asshole. And then the turn of events happens and things happen and she eventually has had enough and becomes, more than the sum of her parts, so to speak. It works because they take plenty of time in the beginning to set up all of the characters. We know them very well by the time they all meet. We see what's going on in the prison and how these people escape. We see what's going on with Becky and her life and her dad and her new stepmom possibly. Yeah. She's dealing with a lot of stuff. So anyway, this takes that kind of dramedy formula and then amps it up to 11 with some gore and some action. She's not going to take this, and she's had enough. I'm not going to tell you what leads to her doing it or what she does, but needless to say, the kills are graphic to say the least. And it's one of the things I liked about it. It makes you go, oh, man, but these people totally deserve it. I mean, anyway. I get done with the movie and I'm like, wow, what a pleasant surprise. I'm going to do a podcast about it. So then I start doing the little bit of research I do on these movies. The movie got postponed due to COVID. That was the problem with it, and that's why it got lost. They've made a sequel. The Wrath of Becky came out earlier this year. I remember that movie coming out and people saying great things about it. But I didn't put two and two together because I'd never seen Becky. Now, top of my list to watch The Wrath of Becky. 3 years later, they've made another movie. It's the same. Lulu Wilson plays the same character, and with the trauma of her past, she's going to deal with something else. The preview looks great. A buddy of mine told me it's streaming on Paramount Plus. I've been trying to find a Blu-ray copy of it. It came out a few months ago, and you can't find a copy of it. A lot of bootlegs on eBay and stuff like that. Anyway, seems hard to find for some reason. Came out March this year and out on home video August or September of this year. So it's a new release that I can't find. The original movie was distributed by Redbox, and to try and find that now on Redbox is also difficult. Both Becky and Wrath of Becky. Becky's a little bit easier to find now. It's been out. You can walk into Walmart and find it on DVD, maybe Blu-ray. I really enjoyed Becky, and for the $2 to $3 I paid for it, it was more than worth it. It's weird to see Kevin James in this role. Joel McHale's playing your typical kind of dad. Everybody else is fine. The prisoners are all good in their roles, but it's Kevin James and Lulu Wilson in the movie, and it's not what I expected out of Kevin James. I kind of expected him to be over the top, and I thought he was good. Little understated, you know. I don't know if I totally bought him, but we get a different bad guy in the next movie, so I'm looking forward to that. Wait, is it Simon Pegg in the next one? There's somebody big in the next one. Anyway, Simon Pegg was supposed to be in this one. I think the movie's great for especially something you're going to stream and forget about later. It has a little bit more than that because, again, Becky is a fully fleshed out character, and most of the other characters are fleshed out and we know their motivations. That makes a big difference in this kind of movie. Where they just introduce somebody who fights against bad guys, that's one thing. But when you know why and everything they've been through for the last few months and all that kind of stuff, then it plays out as it should. You know, it plays out even with the exaggerated kill scenes. It's kind of that John Wick thing. You're happy to see her get back at these people who thought they could just dismiss her and just, you know, throw her away or whatever. It's a lot of fun. Don't think it is a 5-star movie. It is what it is. It's low budget, and it's mostly in one wooded area in a house. But you've got decent actors all doing good work, and the gores are all practical. Matter of fact, I don't know that there was any CGI in the entire movie. All the blood is practical, all the gory effects. There's some stuff with a boat. There's some stuff with some other things. I don't want to do any spoilers here, so I'll stop now. Maybe we'll do a spoiler podcast after I watch the sequel. And supposedly, I've heard a rumor they would like to make a trilogy. Well, I'll be looking for The Wrath of Becky. You should check out Becky, the first one. Came out in 2020. It's available on a variety of streaming services, and I think it's worth a watch for the non-squeamish. It's violent like a horror movie. It's just not a horror movie. It's actually quite funny. If you like that kind of mixture, you're going to like my channel because this is the kind of movies that I really dig, that just come out of nowhere. They made you laugh. They made you go, ooh, and you want to watch them again with your friends. That's my kind of movie. So, Becky, released in 2020, available now in a variety of locations. Go check it out. Let me know what you think. I'm Scott. I'm ROCKFILE. My links are below. Thanks for listening, and have a spectacular day.